You're watching WLTX Plus.
That's right, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us here on WLTX Plus. I'm Christy Calcagna. We have James Hopkins here on my left. And yeah, we were talking about it over on News 19 at noon, that James basically was like, man, I think it's a little bit too cold here from Tampa. I think I got to go ahead and bring the 80s.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. Come on, James. I am from New York.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be doing this. I need to get in like the holiday spirit.
Yeah, which means from New York, snow and below freezing.
Okay, I would never wish that upon
there you go.
anybody here.
And that's the funny thing. Our average high here
for
this time of year is 66. Our average high in Tampa is still about 80. So that's normal for down there.
Wow. So you're used to this now.
Yeah, exactly. So, so it's going to be good for the rest of the week. I'm here till Friday, and then your cold front comes through. So perfect timing.
There it is.
I'm going to take the warm weather along with me. But don't worry, that cold front's not going to be too bad. Not like the one we had just this past weekend, which brought us the cold conditions this morning and yesterday morning as well. But it did leave us with some beautiful blue sky out there. We do have a few clouds moving their way through, which again are not too bad at all. So again, a beautiful look out there, and we are warming up. We're already at 65 degrees. And as mentioned, 66 is your normal high this time of year. And we're seeing a couple of spots. Winsboro's at 66 with St. Matthews, 67 Orangeburg. So we'll warm up a couple more degrees for a lot of us. And we're already, as you can see, with the exception of Sumter, anywhere from about 1 to 4 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We'll see the same thing as we go throughout your afternoon. We'll warm up into the low 70s, so it's going to be nice and it's going to be comfortable. We'll still see a lot of sunshine. Nice south flow. That south flow is bringing up that warmer, little bit more humid air, which again is really going to help us out as we go throughout tonight. So today, 71, mostly sunny, feeling pretty good. And then tonight, 50. Big difference from the upper 30s we had this morning. And then there is your big warm up. As we go throughout the next 3 days, look for those highs around 80.
Alrighty, James, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and right now take a live look over the U.S. Capitol. This as the House is expected to vote later on today on legislation that would require the Attorney General to make public all unclassified and investigative materials that are related to the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, President Trump has also signaled that he would sign the bill if it clears Congress. Natalie Brand has more details.
This was me at 14 years old. I was a child.
Epstein survivors reflecting on the past say the vote scheduled for this afternoon is long overdue.
This isn't just one case gone wrong. It's an institutional failure on a historic scale, and every member of Congress and this administration must answer for that failure.
The House is fast-tracking the bill, so it will require two-thirds majority to pass.
You are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that.
President Trump told reporters Monday he would sign the legislation if it reaches his desk. House members leading the effort have called on the Senate to take up the bill without amending it.
It should go straight to the Senate and it should be signed. No amendments, no adding loopholes. Justice is long overdue.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has already called on changes to be made in the Senate.
Congress should give the Attorney General broader authority to redact all the victim information. The discharge doesn't do that. This would prevent the release of information that could be used to unmask victims who have chosen to remain anonymous.
Sponsors of the bill say the victims who were on the Hill this morning support it as is, but added that the president could take action on his own to release all remaining files. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now, the Senate has not yet announced when or even if it will take up the legislation once it passes the House. New concerns this afternoon about immigration enforcement over in Charlotte and may be keeping some families from sending their children to school. Officials say nearly 21,000 students were absent yesterday in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, which is about 15% of the entire district. Now, the district says these numbers are still unofficial until the state signs off. And about 31% of its students identify as Hispanic. As families navigate that fear, some community members are stepping up to support kids learning from home, including one former teacher turning to live streams. Take a look.
There's the old joke of if you can't do, then teach. And I know people usually don't say that in a nice way, but as I sat this weekend thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Teach.
Natalie Parmenter, a former teacher, is live streaming a literacy lesson for the next 2 weeks aimed at kids ages 4 to 7 whose families may be keeping them home because of Border Patrol concerns. Parmenter has lived abroad herself and says she experienced a more friendly atmosphere than she believes some here are getting.
I felt like I was welcomed in that country and appreciated. And so it's really hard for me to come back to my own country and see that we're not extending the same welcoming grace to the very people that are making Charlotte a great place to live.
Parmenter understands this effort doesn't replace school, but she still wants to support young children.
I've lived in this city for a long time. I've worked with a lot of students over the years, and I've never really wondered what their immigration status is. I've wondered if they're kind. I'm wondering what they're giving back, how they're learning, and you know, what kind of people they're going to grow up to be.
Charlotte organizations are stepping up as well. Nancy Apolinar with the Latin American Coalition says fear is running high among families. She says they're working to support them through their family assistance network, providing basic necessities.
From food to additional needs that they may have if they have been impacted by they themselves or someone in their household who has been detained or is in the process of deportations.
Back here closer to home, a major housing proposal could bring more than 400 new homes to one of Lexington County's fastest growing communities. Mungo Homes is looking to transform 174 acres in Red Bank. Megan Dauschkis has more on what this project could mean for traffic, growth, and the community's future.
It might seem like I'm in the middle of the woods right now, which I kind of am, but soon this property behind me could become a new development in the Red Bank area of Lexington County. This piece of land behind me is 173.9 acres and soon might have new dwellings. They're proposing 402 dwellings. Now, where is this piece of property at? Right now, behind me, you can see a road that leads out to South Lake Drive. It's north of Briar Patch where I am right now, and it is going to be south of Buckley Road. A better land marker to have an idea of where this is going to be is it's pretty close to White Knoll High School. Like I said, they have 402 dwellings proposed for this. I'll have more information later tonight on the development of this property and what is proposed. And I'm also going to see if Lexington County residents, how they're feeling about it. There's been a lot of development in the area and how they feel about a possible another one coming. So for now, we're just looking at a big forest behind me, but soon there might be homes on it.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Of course, she will have much more on this story and how the community plans to manage growth. That's all coming up on Friends at 5. And when we come back, why voting in your local elections may matter even more than the big ones and how the decisions happening right here at home is impacting your everyday life. Stay with us.
All right, my friends, you know what we're about to talk about. Election Day is here, and I brought in Representative Hamilton Grant to really talk about the importance of runoff elections and also local elections in general. So first of all, thank you for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you. Okay, so let's get right into it. Runoff elections happening right now, people heading to the polls. I mean, the polls opened at 7 o'clock. They close at 7 o'clock this evening. As long as you were in line by 7, you can still vote. That's
right.
important to know. But a lot of times when we look at local elections, we do not see high voter turnout, especially when it comes to re-elect or runoff elections. So can you speak to the importance of folks heading out today for these runoff elections that are happening for the city of Columbia and for Prosperity in Newberry?
Absolutely. So with respect to federal elections and our federal officials, the local elections are really what matters. They affect your everyday way of life and your lifestyle because those are decisions made closest to you, from school board all the way up to city council, county council, and all of the above. And so I believe the importance of people coming out really sends a message to say, hey, we want our everyday life to look like and reflect like the policies that are being put up. And, you know, people come out for general election over policy, but people come out for the runoff on personality and relationship. And so for candidates who are in a runoff, it is important to make sure that you spend that 2 weeks, even though it's really a week and a half worth of work, to get people back out to the polls because you know you're already going to have a drop-off.
Absolutely. And why do you think that we see a drop-off for re-elections? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it was so tight, I definitely need to be out there. What has been your grasp from the community on that?
Yeah, so people feel like they've already taken care of their civic duty in voting in the general election. We spend so much time talking about this date, this date, this date, this date. When the date comes and you don't have a clear winner, we've never really trained voters to say, okay, we have to come back out.
Right.
The first election in office that I ran for in 2020, we ended up going into a runoff, and we saw a significant decrease in people who came out. And so depending on how the candidate spends their time, whether it's on social media, whether it's on TV, whether it is talking to voters one-on-one, that is what really drives people coming out. And so if people feel like they have a relationship with the candidate, there's a vested interest there. And so if this is somebody that I believe in, I know, I've had that personal touch, then it is on me to come back to make sure we finish the job.
Absolutely. And I also want to speak to this because this is something that I hear a lot, having covered so many elections here. People are like, you know what, my vote does not matter. And it makes me just like, it makes me want to just wring my head because I'm like, your vote matters so much. And I think that's one of the reasons that we have seen such low voter turnout over the past couple of years. It's really voter apathy, where we're seeing folks like, you know what, my vote doesn't matter, or it's not going to make a difference, when in actuality, your vote is critical. So can you speak to the person who's like, it doesn't matter if I vote, or my voice is not going to be heard in this election?
Well, one, absolutely, it matters. There have been votes that have come down to literally 5 vote differences, particularly in runoffs, because the turnout is so low that every single vote that is counted is important. I think the second thing is, from a mindset perspective, is we think of it from an individual standpoint and not from a community standpoint. And so while my vote counts, what am I doing from a responsibility to make sure the community around me, from family members to friends to circles to social groups, actually go out and vote and have turnout as well? I think that as people in this space, we spend a lot of time on registration. And registration is important, but it makes no sense to register 100 people and you got 3 people that turned out to actually vote.
That part.
And so mobilizing voters and giving them something to feel included on and engaged in is really what has to drive turnout, which makes people feel like our vote matters.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things that some people said they were surprised about seeing in the past couple of elections, the Gen Z voters showing up and showing out, y'all. I mean, I think about the last presidential election, and I want them to have that same passion as well when it comes to our gubernatorial and our local elections. But what do you think has really sparked that interest with Gen Z? Because for me, I'm wondering if it's social media.
Yeah, well, social media is playing a large part. People have access now. So TikTok is where Gen Z is getting their news from. And so if they're getting insight and they're getting feedback from those social media networks, then they have buy-in and invested interest because their interest is already in culture, already in society. And TikTok influencers are masterful at crafting their message to fit a political agenda with cultural and societal messaging. And so when they have invested interest in that, then they're going to tack on to issues that speak to them. So a college or school affordability, making sure that college is affordable, making sure that the scholarship grants are not being cut by administration because of how they feel on a certain stance or not. And so things like that that affect their lives now and that will affect their lifestyle going forward in terms of how they get jobs is important. I have twin sisters and we talk all the time. They're studying to be doctors. And one of the things that they tell us is that their peer groups in med school look at states that have restrictive women's reproductive right issues. And those are the states that they don't want to go to. But they learn more listening from social media and TikTok and actually comparing it to the policies that are being put in place to decide where they're going to set their anchor and where they're going to start a life after school. Those things are important. And as elected officials, we must do a much better job in making sure that the policies are relatable to the times.
Absolutely. And really reaching out. I mean, we've seen a transition really of politicians reaching out to people through social media. I mean, it is a core aspect for a lot of people's campaigns. Now, let me ask you this, okay? So you've done such a great job, even before you were elected, of really pushing the importance of voting, right?
Thank you.
How would you have a conversation with somebody? Let's say somebody's like, I agree, I vote, but all my people are like, I'm not really with it. What advice would you give somebody when it comes to approaching the conversation of talking about the importance of voting?
Yeah, so not voting is giving someone else the right to speak for you. And whether your vote is on the prevailing side or the losing side, you still spoke up. The worst thing that you can do, particularly in this time, is be silent. There are so many things that you can talk about. There are so many issues, and you don't have to have the solution. You just have to provide a solution. And so encouraging individuals to vote, whether it's for the first time, whether they haven't voted in 3 different election cycles, understanding that the importance is now, and with all the gravitas and all the promises that candidates make, none of that matters if you don't show up.
Right.
We are only one person. We are only one vote on whatever body that we serve in. But we can't do the job that we promised unless you participate in it. And I think addressing this from a team aspect versus an individual aspect is something that we've got to do a whole lot more of.
Absolutely. And okay, so my final question this morning, let's just drive this point home. Runoff elections today. We still have many more elections because a lot of people just think about that presidential election, but we are constantly having elections as well. Speak to it again. We'll close out with this. It is so critical that people get up and that they vote and that they are informed about the issues. I think that's a big part of the problem. Is a lot of people don't know what's going on. So being informed about the issues so that way you know what's going on. So you're like, yep, I need to go vote.
Yeah, so everything that you see from the federal government is going to have local impact. So the shutdown that we just came out of, when we're talking about SNAP benefits that were just restored, they all have local impact, and you can draw that impact down to the zip code. And so not voting and not participating, you are becoming complacent in what is happening, particularly if you feel so much frustration. And I'm glad you alluded to not just this runoff election today, but going into next year. South Carolina will pick a new governor for the first time in over 10 years. And so with all the people and all the candidates who are interested in running for that position, people have to fill those positions that they're already in. And so there's going to be a major political shift here in South Carolina. And unless people are understanding what is at hand and the policies that are being implemented and talked about, then we'll miss this train. And now is not the time to have anybody left at the station.
Absolutely. Don't get left
Don't get left at the station.
Representative Grant said, don't get left at the I'm about to call this man ham. Don't get left at the station. But again, my friends, send this interview. We're going to put it on WLTX.com. Somebody who may be hesitant about voting, please send this to them because, again, your voice truly, truly does matter. We hope to see you out at the voting booths for every election that we have, especially the local ones, because they impact you and your family greatly.
A good Tuesday afternoon. Got a beautiful shot out there. Really everywhere that you look, it is looking beautiful across the area, and our temperatures, it is feeling great. If you haven't stepped up the door yet, and you are right now, don't worry. The cold air is gone. We're in the mid 60s, 70 in Aiken right now. So feeling great out there across the state. We have 60s and 70s, and it's warmer than what we had this time yesterday. You see about anywhere from 1 to about 6 degrees warmer for most of us. Sumter's still a little behind there at a degree cooler, but this is the reason why we're going to feel so much better as we go throughout your overnight tonight. Our dew points, and again, we don't talk about this much in the summertime because, you know, this is what makes it feel so much hotter during the day. But here's the good thing. Look at the increase in your dew points. This will keep us from getting as cold, and they're going to keep going up. So your temperature can't go below the dew point. So actually, as we get towards the end of the week, we might see some patchy fog across the air with this way these dew points are going to go, but temperatures will be in the upper 60s to low 70s as we go throughout your afternoon with lots of sun. And again, here's what the dew points will do for you. This morning we were in the upper 30s, yesterday morning in the upper 30s, tomorrow morning upper 40s to about 50. Maybe a few spots will stick to the low 50s, and that's comfortable. 41 is your normal for this time of year, and we're going to keep going up. You got 54, 58, 60. So again, going to feel great as we go into the weekend. We're going to have a cold front come through on Saturday. That's going to bring us another cool down, but look at that cool down. That is nothing like the cool down we just experienced. 10 degrees warmer at 48 again, 38 this morning. So you see the European model showing dry for the rest of the week. There's your shot of rain coming on Saturday. So we'll have some showers as we go into overnight tonight to early tomorrow morning. Those are going to stay up to our north. I think our rain chance is like 8%, so not really looking at much. Friday night to Saturday morning, we'll see a stray shower. And then the cold front will move its way through as we go throughout the day on Saturday. Still warm, still comfortable on Saturday. And then we'll see that push its way out. We dry it on Sunday and temperatures will drop, but they will stay above average. So again, it's going to be nice. And again, we'll see sunshine coming Sunday and for Monday. So look at the temperature trends from that 71 today to 80 all the way through Friday. And there's your drop. Again, 72, 66 is your normal for this time of year. And we're going to stay above that for the entire 7-day forecast. Again, 80 for the next 3 days, 76 on Saturday with a few showers. And then we dry it on Sunday, 72, 48 Monday morning, but your high still at 72.
All right, James, thank you so much. Well, food prices are up more than 3% this year. And with Thanksgiving just 9 days away, many shoppers are feeling it. President Trump has now rolled back on tariffs on hundreds of food products in response. Kelly O'Grady is breaking down what that can mean for your holiday grocery bill.
So what can consumers expect this Thanksgiving when it comes to prices?
So the good news is Thanksgiving is going to be a little less expensive than it was last year, but turkey prices are up 40%.
Phil Lempert is a food industry analyst known as the supermarket guru.
Turkey prices, why are they up this year?
There's a shortage of turkeys because of bird flu. Over the past few years, we have less turkeys and less chickens, and that's what's creating this influx of prices.
Average frozen wholesale turkeys are $1.32 per pound. That's up from 97 cents per pound last year. Feast favorites, cranberries, are up 6%, while green beans are up 32%. However, staples like lettuce, milk, soft drinks, and potatoes are flat or up slightly from a year ago, while butter, bread, and eggs are down.
Are tariffs having an impact at all on grocery prices?
Absolutely. There's no question. Whether it's an imported product like olive oil or imported cheeses or imported wines, tariffs have an effect. But also, let's not forget, there's a tariff on aluminum cans. So that, in fact, even on our canned pumpkin, is going to increase those prices.
Grocery chains, including Walmart, Aldi, and Lidl, have deals to feed a family of 10 for $4 or less per person. All include turkey, stuffing, potatoes, pie, and other sides.
What they're doing is they're putting together 10, 15, 20 items in a bundle, and that way we're forgetting about what the price is, but we're looking at the price per person.
While Walmart's Thanksgiving meal deal is cheaper compared to last year, it contains fewer items. Retailers understand consumers are price conscious, so they're finding ways to make things more affordable in their most important season. Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, New York.
All right, everyone, don't go anywhere. More WLTX Plus. We'll be back after this quick break. everyone, check this out. Just in time for Thanksgiving, Heinz is releasing a new condiment inspired by the 90s sitcom Friends. If you remember the one with Ross's sandwich, Heinz is paying tribute to the Moist Maker sandwich with a limited edition leftover gravy sauce made with real turkey broth. It's available now, but only online through Walmart as part of a bundle with Heinz home-style turkey gravy. The kit even, yes, does include a recipe for what Heinz is calling the ultimate Thanksgiving leftovers sandwich. Oh, yeah.
Now, we do a lot of these
this.
stories where this announces this and this new flavor. And I saw one that was mustard-flavored beer and all this. This is a fantastic idea.
I think this is so smart with
Sold.
Friends. I mean, guys, that was such an iconic episode there,
Yes.
too. And the amount of times I make a leftover sandwich after Thanksgiving.
Oh, exactly.
Exactly. That's how you guys do it. Okay, I can get on board with
I
this.
am definitely on board. I'm going to look for it.
Yeah, this is something, guys, we can get on board with this, and that is saying something. Normally, a mustard beer, hard pass. There's ranch ice cream.
Yeah, no, hard pass.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
We're not doing any of that, but
Yeah.
this, Heinz, you did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, exactly. Things are looking nice out there. We got sunshine and temperatures in the 60s. Look at those temperatures across the area. Mid to upper 60s. It is going to be fantastic. We'll top out at 71 today, 80 tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah, I hope you like that sunshine because we are in for it. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us here on WLTX Plus. Stay safe out there. We'll see you back here at 6:30.